Hey friends, it is Father Quinn coming to you from my front porch at this point. Hope that y'all are well this day. And I just wanted to reflect for a minute on the Christian practice of giving thanks. I've been continuing to do our school chapel during this time of separation, and it's been interesting. And I'm missing church on Sundays and missing looking out and seeing the people. I've also been missing the kids from school, but it's still been good to connect with them in that way. This past week, my chapel lesson was about Paul's letter to the Thessalonians, and he tells the congregation there that in everything give thanks, for this is the will of God. And I kind of reflected with the students that I used to often worry about what I should do with my life. It was a big question for me. It's probably, not just me, it's a big question for all of us, isn't it? What should I do with my life? And some of you know my family own a store in Jacksonville, and was I supposed to do that? Sometimes I thought I was supposed to be a journalist, and God wanted me to do that. Sometimes I thought I had all these other things that, I thought God wanted me to be. A rock star, of course, was one for quite some time. That was not in the cards. And also a minister, a pastor, a preacher. And I would agonize over that. And one day it just kind of hit me. I was reading the book of Thessalonians, and I came across this passage. In everything give thanks, for this is the will of God. And what kind of occurred to me was that is the whole ballgame. I'm sure that God has given me and given you special gifts and special ways to use in your vocation, in your life, in whatever work you do, in your life as a parent, as a friend, as a spouse or a partner. I'm sure that's true. But what I believe is more true is that if we are the kind of people who are learning to give thanks always, everything else has a way of falling in place. And it's important to know that giving thanks isn't just about when it's easy to give thanks. Of course, there's lots of times in life when it is easy to give thanks, but that's not all of life, is it? And in fact, the Thessalonians to whom Paul is writing are in their own sort of struggle. Their expectations about what Jesus was going to do, when Jesus was going to return, those had been disappointed. And it's in the depths of those disappointments that Paul is writing the Thessalonians and saying, no, in everything, at all times, give thanks. Give thanks even when it's hard. Now, none of that is to negate the sadness that we feel, that you might be feeling right now, that the Thessalonians were feeling about Jesus not returning when they thought he was supposed to. None of it is supposed to negate your fear. None of it is supposed to negate your frustration, your anger. You are absolutely entitled and able to feel any of those things. But the reason you need to come back, I believe, to Thanksgiving is because it's very easy to let those negative feelings kind of come to dominate in a way that you feel like that's who you are, that's your identity. I am angry. I am sad. I am scared. I am frustrated. And I don't believe that is what God has in mind for us. And so we are called to be a people who give thanks, not just when it's easy, but in all times and in all seasons of life. And one of the fruits of Thanksgiving is generosity. And I've got two things that I want to say about generosity as I'm talking to you. One of which has to do with how we intend to respond as a congregation for parishioners in need that come to us. And the second has to do with some good news from our bishop that came out yesterday. So first, what is our response? I have heard from parishioners who are beginning to struggle financially, and I'm certain that is not the end. I'm certain that many of us will as we move through this crisis. And so in meeting with the vestry and talking through them about what the best response should be from us, we really believe that we want something that can be quick and easy and kind of can be quickly handled, not something that's going to take a long time. If someone comes and says, hey, I've got this problem, hey, I need help with this bill or that bill. And so what we've decided is that we are inviting those of you who are not financially affected by this at this point and who would like to give extra and would like to give to help for the needs of others in the congregation who are, to give specifically to my discretionary fund. And that way, parishioners who are struggling and who are having a hard time can come straight to me and say, I need help with this. And I can quickly and easily access that. And of course, using all wisdom and discretion as I always practice with that fund. But that will be the quickest and easiest way to help others in our congregation. So I would invite you, if you would like to help our parishioners specifically in this crisis, that you could give to my discretionary fund. I, of course, do want to encourage folks to give abundantly and give out of generosity and give out of the gladness of their hearts. We want to be a place where parishioners, those in our community who are struggling, can come and we can be of assistance. The second piece is about good news that came from the diocese yesterday, which is that Bishop Cole has announced that he is forgiving the diocesan assessment for the next 2 months, for April and May. And so this is great news. It helps make some room in our budget to make sure that we can still do the things we need to do to move forward in mission and ministry, to take care of our amazing staff who are doing an incredible job in this hard time. It's just going to really free us up for ministry. And so I'm so thankful that he has made that decision, and that Bishop and Council and the Finance Committee have approved of that and agreed with that decision. So what I want you to consider with that is that means any money that you give to the church right now is going directly to St. Peter's mission and ministry. And we obviously still want to continue in that. We want to continue to keep our facilities in top shape. We want to continue to keep our staff, paid, and keep our staff well during this time. And we want to continue to care for the needs of others. We want to continue to worship. We want to continue to facilitate formation. We want to continue in all of those good works that God has given us to do. So I ask you, as a thankful response for the diocesan good news, to continue to give. Use our PayPal to give. If you don't know how to do that, get in touch with Tina in the office. She will be able to help you and get you set up with that. But I do ask that you would be mindful of the continued needs of the church, which is completely dependent on your generosity. I want to thank you for the ongoing support that you have offered, both financially and in prayer and in word and in deed, to me and to the church and to others in our community. So I thought that would be some good news to talk about this first day of April. I will connect the bishop's letter that he sent to this video as we share it. And I want to pray that you all are well, and just know that I miss you, I love you, and I look forward to seeing you again. God bless.